What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Avengers Assemble the Omega issue. This will be the final issue bringing Avengers Assemble to its absolute close. This is the final battle for all of existence, with Mephisto absorbing all of his surviving variants, granting himself immense power and growing to colossal sizes. As the heroes battled Mephisto, they were too late as the God Quarry was torn to shreds. The ground cracked, and everything comes spilling out. Now the remaining Omni-Avengers, led by Avenger Prime, they have rallied for their final stand. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, as the ancient God Quarry begins to break open, we see an unending ocean of dark power. A cosmic swamp made up of the rotting remains of the first firmament, of the existence that came before this one. The waters begin to flood the whole area. We see heroes and villains alike taken under, and in all the chaos, we have the one and only Captain America, who is trying to come to the rescue, trying to get everybody to high ground, to save as many souls as they possibly can. But Iron Man is letting him know that these waves are exploding in every direction, including up. They need Avengers Mountain to teleport them out of here. The only problem, there is nowhere to run. These floods will sweep across all realities, drowning planets and civilizations alike. It will drown entire universes. And so when the question goes out, that what do we do? How do we stop it? There is no answer. Death's waves are crashing against them, and this seems to be an all-consuming, all-ending wave of destruction. As this wave is about to crash over on Captain America, that is where Old Man Phoenix comes into play. He is able to freeze the wave in midair. Using the Phoenix power, he holds back this destructive wave. And he tells everybody that whatever you're gonna do, you must do it fast, because even the Phoenix cannot hold back this power for long. And so while Logan holds all of this back with the Phoenix power, Doom and Mephisto have a conversation. The conversation is along the lines of Mephisto wanting to die. He had been reigning in hell long before humankind ever existed, but he has found no more joy in life. No more joy in torture and anguish and hurting and killing. He is tired of the monotony of life, of existing. He brought on these waves so that he could end his life. Along with his life, he would take everything with him. No more noise, just silence. And Doom tells him that if you want your life to end, I will oblige you. As he strikes down Mephisto, he goes to grab hold and harness the power of this great energy in great quantities. This God Quarry power, it would take over any wielder, but in controlled amounts, small tiny increments, someone may be able to wield it, to use it. As Doom grabs a small part of this power, we see this power begin to expand. It begins to grow. It begins to suck in Doom. That is because our Tony Stark Iron Man had just shot it. Using his technology, he made the size of this mass increase. With its increase, Doom Supreme was unable to escape in time. And so Doom Supreme, he is turned to stone, and Ant-Man shrinks him down to a pocket-size 1/16th figure. Mephisto still alive, just observing what they have done. Ant-Man turning to him and letting him know that he is next. This is when Avenger Prime chimes in, letting all of them know that they must seal the breach in the God Quarry. That even his power is not enough to hold this back. As Valkyrie does everything she can using the all-weapon to help Old Man Phoenix. His adamantium bones are beginning to buckle by the sheer power of all of this. They are running out of options. They are running out of time. That is where Deathlock comes into play. The giant celestial coming in, he puts his hand on this breach. He seals it, but only for a moment. Avenger Prime lets him know that the last of the loyal Deathlocks returns to his post as always. The multiverse provides, but he tells him that you must understand, even in celestial form, this could be the end of you. And so he holds it back. He does everything he can, but his hand begins to splinter. It begins to crack. It begins to tear Deathlock apart. With the thunder gods and goddesses coming in, they come to cauterize the wounds. And now everyone is wondering, where are the Phoenixes? That is where Thor's mother and Echo begin to come in. But as they do, they are stopped by the Dark Phoenix. She comes in to make one last play. But our Phoenixes, they aren't stopping. Nothing is getting in their way. The two of them together, their combined might brings down the Dark Phoenix in a singular, fantastic blow. And so with the Dark Phoenix being dispatched, we see Deathlock lose his hand, trying to stop this breach. It was too much power, it was too much force, and this Celestial just had his hand blown off. The other Phoenixes meeting up with Old Man Logan, with all three of these Phoenixes using their power to hold back all of this water. That is where Thor comes in. The fire that was breathed into him the day he was born by his mother. The fire of the almighty Thor, son of the Thunderbird. He launches his great power, and we see that at least temporarily this wave has been held off. That it is driving the water back. But the only problem is that they don't have a plug. This is where Starbrand and the All-Rider come into play. We see the All-Rider begin to resurrect Doom the Living Planet. The multiversal spirit of vengeance, nothing is beyond his power, not even the walls of death. If it exists, he can make it his ride. And that is exactly what he does. He pieces this planet back together, and he sends it to be a giant plug. The planet of vengeance coming in, and it lands directly in the hole. And it plugs it up, at least temporarily. But even this is not enough to hold back this power. We see Doom the Living Planet, it begins to crack. That's when our goddesses, they bring down the Mjolnirs. First, just a couple trying to hold it down. But even with 3 hammers on Doom the Living Planet, it is still moving. And so they call every Mjolnir that they have. With this being enough just for the moment, Mephisto is laughing at them, saying that there is nothing they can do. Everyone tired of hearing his voice, this is when our Sorcerer Supreme makes him disappear. He is ensuring that he will have eternal punishment, that he will never see death, that he will live on forever. But the Phoenixes are officially tuckered out. If the dam breaks again, they do not have enough fire to hold it back. This is when Iron Man says that someone has to blast it closed from the inside. That is the only way to truly stop this. And so Starbrand, activating her power, she knows that it is her time. While the Avengers try to tell her no, that she is just a child, she knows that she is a Starbrand. This is the kind of thing that she lives for. This is the kind of thing that Starbrands die for. But Robbie refuses to let this happen. We see the All-Rider, he takes off, with Starbrand telling him that he doesn't have to do this, that is why she is here. He tells her that it's not, and that no one outraces the All-Rider. We see him crash into this, the car going deep down into the God Quarry. It is time for the All-Rider to have one last ride, putting the pedal to the metal, all the way to hell. We see a giant fiery explosion, and this breach has finally been sealed. All of existence was just saved by a kid and his hot rod. The breach has been sealed, the Dooms are all in custody, and our heroes now mourn all of their losses. Now they must decide what becomes of those who had lost their worlds. They may have just saved the entire multiverse, but it doesn't mean that things just go back to the way they were. 615 Earths still lay in ruins, but as warped a world as they may have become, those are the worlds that gave birth to them. So even if they could change them back, then these versions of them, the ones who just fought a war to save the fate of all Earths, would cease to exist. And while some would love for their Earth to disappear, that it's a hellish landscape that they came from, there are others like the Howling Commandos that don't want their lives taken. This is where we see Thor's mother walk off. As the Phoenix and Starbrand sit down next to one another, they have a conversation. We have Death Celestial, who is currently weeping. He is weeping for Starbrand, because Deathlock knows what must be done. Both of them are feeling the same call. It is going to take everything that they have, but their powers together, they can do something unique. While everybody is off discussing what is about to happen, what their next course of action may be, the two of them walk off into the distance, getting ready to do what is necessary. Old Man Phoenix and Echo, they know that there is nothing that they can do, that this has to be the way it is. When Echo asks why it has to be them two, it is because they have the most to lose, the most to offer the cosmic fates in trade. They are the heart of all of this and the always in living form. A baby Starbrand and the mother Phoenix. The two of them combining their power, life and love incarnate, now and forever. The two of them save all the worlds that were in ruins. And throughout time, we see all of our heroes sent back into the past, sent back into the future, sent back to exactly where they belong. The goddess is now hanging out with Old Man Logan, but no longer having the power of the Phoenix. Echo has found her way to Asgard with Thor, also no longer being connected to the Phoenix. Namor being locked away in prison for his crimes. Even though he is granted the title of Avenger by Captain America, Namor says that he is not an Avenger and he is not the King of Atlantis. That he must face punishment for the things that he has done. And in the North Pole, the statues erected of Robbie and Starbrand, so that they may never forget the Avengers that stood here this day and saved the multiverse. And the Netherrealms, we have Valkyrie, who has been looking for both the Starbrand and Allrider, but she is yet to find them in heaven or in hell. Not sure where they are. They are somewhere out there in existence. Down in hell, we have Mephisto. Back down where he belongs, living out his days. And the person to keep him company through all of this is Orb. As Orb sits there and he talks and talks and talks, Mephisto wishing he could just end his life. We have Avengers that are finding new purposes. The Tony Stark Ant-Man wanting to really make Starbrand and the Phoenix's sacrifice worth something. They have a lot of work ahead of them, a lot of Earths to save. And so while they get to work in the sea beyond the God Quarry, all is still in silence. In that darkness, there is a light that searches the nothingness for what it has lost. Even trapped within a sea of horrible darkness, slowly tearing him apart, the Ghost Rider endures. He works, rebuilding his car, and he waits for the chance to take one more ride. That long ride home. And that will be the end of this story. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Not a horrible ending. Not the worst ending that I've got. This story, like I said the whole time, it's been subpar. It wasn't the greatest thing. It might be a story better read all together in one go. But there are some interesting things that happened in here. We see that Echo is no longer the Phoenix. We see that Old Man Logan no longer has the Phoenix power. Now, this doesn't mean that the Phoenix is gone forever. But at least for the time being, there is no person that is wielding the Phoenix Force. It's possible that the Phoenix Force is gone completely with the rebirth of all these planets, and there is still no sign of Starbrand. But it looks like Robbie is still out there. He is still alive. The All-Rider still existing, putting his vehicle back together. Maybe one day we will see him rise again. Maybe one day he will return from this darkness that he finds himself in. I do find it a little disappointing that Robbie didn't die. The fact that you kept him alive after all of that, it kinda takes away from his sacrifice. The same goes with Starbrand. They say that they can't find her in heaven or hell, which means that this Starbrand could still exist, which again takes away from the huge sacrifice that they made. You know, the stories like this always make me think of the story of Jesus Christ. How he died for his sins but was resurrected 3 days later. So can you truly call it a sacrifice if you are still alive, if you're still fine? You didn't do the ultimate sacrifice. You just did something that was a little bit hard, and you were there a couple days later. I find it a silly part of stories that really takes away from the sacrifice that these individuals have made. This is supposed to be the ultimate sacrifice. You sacrifice your life so that everybody can live. But when it comes to comic books, sacrificing your life hardly ever actually means you dying. But it'll be interesting to see what the Phoenix Force is going to do once all of this has really cleared the waters. Once we get to the other side and see where it all is going to land. I know a lot of people weren't happy with Echo being the Phoenix. So now the question is, where will the Phoenix go? Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything that happened with Avengers and Avengers Assemble, be sure to check out the links in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting comics every single month. Not only does this help out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you are unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.